Welcome to Speaking the Truth with your host, Anthony Brown. Speaking the Truth is brought to you by Associates Life Coaching and Counseling. If you're feeling blue and don't know what to do, call Anthony Brown and he will help you. 1-800-217-7140. So today I have a special guest, Mr. Raymond Fields, and he's a fellow educator. As you know, I'm an educator as well.
Yes.
I ran across one of Mr. Fields' videos of him teaching, and it went viral. So I just want to have a conversation about it. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us a little about yourself?
All right. My name is Raymond Fields. I am 36 years old. I am married. I have four beautiful kids. I have three boys and one girl, and I'm so glad I only have one girl. um, let's see. I started teaching about 4 years ago,
Okay.
and I actually started teaching about 30 minutes away from where I live, which is Saginaw, Michigan. And I started doing musical theater. I was the vocal director for White Pine and Saginaw Township Community School District.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
that's
So,
where I started teaching.
okay. What inspired you to teach?
I would say just the love to teach. Actually, I feel like I've always been in a role of leadership growing
Mhm.
up. In church, I was always either like the president over a ministry or something. So just always in a leadership role and always having to teach people. And that's just something that I fell in love with. My mom, she used to work, well, she still works in the school district that I work in. And I used to go to her job and they had this big conference room and I used to stand in front of it and
Mhm.
pretend I was like teaching. I was talking to the chairs and everything like that. So it was just natural. It was just something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay, okay. So what I want to do is I want to share with the listeners and the watchers what video I'm talking about. So I'm going to share the video that went viral and made me uh, reach out to you, and I'm so happy you said yes.
Sweet.
So let me show everyone what I'm talking about right quick. And I shared with Mr. Fields earlier, this is my first time interviewing someone using this program, so hope everything works out like you're supposed to. Uh, you know, I'm gonna edit this out. I'm gonna make it more smooth. Let's see. Okay, it's right here. No, let's do this. All right, can you see it? Is my
Yes.
screen showing? Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay. Let's see. I'm trying to make this bigger. Okay, here it is. I showed this video to one of my coworkers. Where I teach at, we have a large multilingual learner population, and one of our sections is beginners. And she said I could have used that method for my MLs. So
Mhm.
if you see this taken off and used for multilingual learners, it's really an excellent teaching pattern. So it may become popular. Uh,
Yes.
so I guess you're known for using music in the classroom, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you come up with the idea to integrate music in your teaching?
Actually, one day my class was just like they were going crazy, and it was like, okay, hold on, everybody, just hold on. And so with me going to school for music, I kind of know the role that it plays. So
Mhm.
what I ended up doing was I just put on music one day, and after I put on the music, the kids, they were calm, they were actually working without me having to say do your work, and they
Mhm.
were singing along with the music. So it was like, oh, okay. So this is what you guys want. You want music. You want to be able to do your work. You want to feel relaxed. You don't want to feel like I have to sit here all day. I have to be still. I have to be quiet. I can't do anything like that. So yeah, it kind of changed the game in my classroom once I started playing music, and the kids became more comfortable with it.
Mhm.
They became relaxed, and a lot of times, like I said, if I don't play the music, then they're asking like, Mr. Fields, where's the music? Can you play the music? Can you play this song? Can you play that song? So it just became a natural thing in our class now.
Okay, okay. Now I teach social studies, so when I get towards the end, we get to democracy, and I plug up Schoolhouse Rock. Do
Okay. I grew up on Schoolhouse Rock.
those seventh graders are so uninterested. So I don't know if that would work for me, but I do try to think outside the box. And
Yes. I
so
would say use songs that they are familiar with.
okay, okay. So I have
Yep.
a big Latino population, so I have to come more versed in their
Oh
music.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I use a lot of songs, especially songs that the artists that they ask for today.
Mhm.
A lot of the artists, it's hard to listen to their music because there's so much cursing in it. So
Mhm.
what I do is I end up just finding the instrumental and
Mhm.
just play the instrumental and let the kids sing.
Okay,
And
okay, okay. Now my
they
first. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
nope, and they love it. They love it because they know the lyrics. So it's like, oh, good, we can roll with this. They're singing along with it and still working. So
Now I tried that my first year. We used Cardi B for sources, and used Cardi B as a acronym for finding sources. I can't remember what the acronym
okay,
meant, but what I did was I used the instrumental version of one of Cardi B songs, and this
yeah,
maybe I started teaching 2020. This is probably 2021, 2020, had to be 2022, and
okay,
but I think that they kind of discouraged us for doing that particular. But I think I might bring it back or something.
oh yeah.
Yeah. What subjects do you find most responsive to music based learning?
Um, I would say it's easier for me to come up with something when it's with math and reading.
Okay. Okay. So walk us through a typical lesson where you use music.
Um, a typical lesson, I could say, right now we're finishing up our controlled vowels.
Mm-hmm.
So usually what happens is we have this program that we use. It's called UFly.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is you have 2 days of like PowerPoint presentation, and is they're actually learning different sounds. They're learning blending. Um, they're learning. There are controlled vowels as well too, and then they give a list of words
Mm-hmm.
that you can choose from. And so what I do is the first day that I teach it, I do it in traditional standard
Okay.
teaching. The
Okay.
kids would sit down, have a PowerPoint. I still play music though, but we listen, we watch the PowerPoint, and then after that, we will break out our whiteboards and our dry erase markers, and we'll chain. We'll do some training with that. And then after that, the next day, what we do is we find something fun to do with it. Like we'll do roll and read, where you have to take a dice
Mhm.
and we'll pick teams. You have to roll whatever number you get, tells you what words you have to read. And so we'll do that. And then we'll work on like our words that we have, and we'll come up with songs to do it, just how we did the boots on the floor.
Okay, okay. Classroom management helps out with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It definitely helps out with classroom management. I have less behaviors now, that I play music, and I play a wide range of music. So it's not just always hip hop or R&B. Because of my classical background, I play classical music. Because of my musical theater background, I play musical theater. So they are well versed in music.
Okay, okay. So I certainly saw that kids were motivated, they were participating. Um, what about focus? Do you notice it helps with the students focusing as well?
It does. It does. A couple of my videos I have on TikTok and Instagram, it shows where my kids are doing iReady, and I will just play a popular song and
Mhm.
they'll sing. They have their headphones on and they're listening to iReady and they're working on iReady. Since I've started doing that, my children, iReady scores are amazing. They're personalized. Information that they use to test them on and to do their like lessons with.
Mhm.
They're busting out hundreds. They're doing 80s. They're doing 90%. And what I try to do is I make them do 15 minutes every single day. I try to limit their time on technology in the classroom, just because I know they are always on technology at home. So I
Right.
kind of strip that away from them, and we do the opposite. So instead of like letting them do more technology, I kind of take that away from them. We do 15 minutes of iReady, and we will leave the iPads and tablets alone. And then after that, I always give them breaks throughout the day. So they may have 10 minutes, 15 minutes there where they can grab their laptops, they can play games. And then after that, they'll shut them back down, and then we'll move on to the next subject.
And what grade do you teach?
I teach first grade.
Oh, okay. These are little
Yes,
kids. Okay,
yes, yes, first grade.
that's one of the most important grades as well.
Yes. Trying to get them in like building a routine for themselves.
Mhm.
Um, And so they are loving it. Some of them are catching on, they're getting a hang of it. And then some of them, they still trying to fight back against, like, oh, I still want to do what I want to do. But eventually they just move along and do what we all are doing. So I I love it. I love it.
So in Michigan, do you all do test the students? Do you do standardized tests for that grade level?
Yeah, well, we use iReady.
Okay.
It's we really don't have like the standardized testing, I should say, like third through sixth grade does at our in our school system. But we do have iReady, which gives us grade levels of where the kids where they are.
Mhm.
Some kids, you know, they may be emerging kindergarten, they may be in first grade, they may be in second grade, you know, and it just keeps going up.
Okay. So since you changed your style of teaching, you have noticed. I think you did answer that a little bit that the scores are higher.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, they are. They are. Even I normally give assessments on Friday, whatever we work on throughout the week. Every Friday they have an assessment on that. And so ever since that I have been using the music and aligning it with the assessment. And what I'll do is I'll play the same music during the assessment, and a lot of times it kind of jog their memory. Before then, my kids would get frustrated. They'll be angry and crying because they can't remember what their answers are for the assessment. But
Mhm.
as soon as we did it with the music, and I play the music during the assessment, a lot of them, they'll sit there, they'll either do the dance, you'll hear them singing the song, and then next thing you know, it's like a light bulb pop off, and then it's like, oh, I know it, and then they start writing. So I love it. I love to see that moment. It's like, yes, yes, yes. So it's the best feeling in the world to see what music is doing for them in the classroom.
Okay. What do you think about current? Let's go. I guess more broad than your classroom. What do you think about the current state of education today, the challenges and opportunities?
There are a lot of challenges. Challenges in behaviors in the classroom, um, having challenges of having, I would say, like the special ed kids integrated with the general education children as well too. That's a challenge, just because um, in a general ed class, I feel like you should move at a certain pace,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times you can't move at that certain pace because you have other kids who are like struggling,
Mm-hmm.
and if you just keep moving fast, you will never get these other kids to learn. So what I do is like the middle of the week, I kind of do like a slight assessment to see where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, if I see that it's not going good, it's like, okay, we got to push harder. We got to come up with more creative ways. We got to come up with more games. I find that my kids, they learn better when it's a game versus sitting down and writing.
Mm-hmm. Like
If you put it in
Kahoot
a
and
game, yeah, if you put it in a game,
Look It is good for those SPED kids and multi-language learners as well.
yes,
Something else.
yes,
And
yes. And I
and
always try to find some manipulatives or something that they can put in their hands while they're doing it, just because, trying to, like I said, have them sit still and pay attention, that's hard. It's
Mhm,
hard. It was hard for us when we were in the first grade. So it's like to expect
mhm,
these first graders now who grow up on technology,
mhm,
it's hard for them to try to sit down and pay attention. So I would say that's a challenge. Just because you want to move faster and some kids are ready, but it's like you cannot just forget about the other children. So what I do is, like I said, after I find out where we are in the middle of the week, then that determines what I'm going to do Thursday and Friday. I may cancel the assessment Friday, and it's like, nope, we need to work harder and we need to do another week of this. And so that's usually how I gauge my assessments.
yeah.
And help.
All,
But that's definitely, I would say, um a big problem that we have in education. I would say another problem is just teachers are getting burnt out,
mhm,
um and they're not enthused anymore to teach.
mhm,
And this generation, you got to come ready on your feet. You
right,
got to be enthused just like them. And if you are the type of teacher that's like, sit down, be quiet,
mhm,
you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna
right,
have
right,
a hard time. But if you are a teacher that can adapt very easily, like
mhm,
me, sometimes I may have one thing planned, but because of my kids' behavior and how they're acting, it's like, nope, we can't do that.
mhm,
Usually I do centers on Friday. Well, today I kind of did my centers today because the first Monday and Tuesday, they had a hard time. They had a hard time with like sitting down and learning. So it's like, okay, let's do this. Y'all need to be up. We need to be moving. So let's get up. Let's move. Let's do this game. Let's do that game. And it was the best. So it's like you got to be on your feet. And if you're not
mhm,
creative,
mhm,
if you're not innovative, if you're not just like an outgoing teacher, you'll have a hard time. And I think that is a struggle that
mhm.
we have in education as well too.
Just in case you didn't know, also there are some wonderful AI programs out there that help you differentiate your uh, assignments,
Yep.
uh, help you do something at the last minute. One
Mhm.
is called Brisket. Uh,
Yes.
you familiar with that? And
Yes.
then Quizzes actually has AI.
Sorry, I don't understand.
I am so sorry. This phone is just doing some crazy stuff right now. Let's
But Quizzes also has some AI built in as well if you use Quizzes. So that's
okay.
AI is really, really making lesson planning and a lot of other things easier.
Yes, they are. They really are. You can just highlight what you need, and then it just formed like a whole PowerPoint for you.
Right, right.
I love it. Yeah.
So, your opinion, has the pandemic changed students or teaching or education system in general?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat it?
Has the pandemic changed students, teaching, or the education system in general? How,
Yes.
how has the pandemic? What do you think?
It has changed because a lot of the kids, and I would say the older kids, not the kids that I have now, because I feel like that's they were born in the pandemic, so they didn't have school during the pandemic, but the older kids, like my third graders, fourth graders that's in the school, I believe it affected them just because they were at home. And
Mhm.
so when you're at home, you're kind of comfortable. If you kind of don't want to do it, it's not going to make you. If your parents had to work during the pandemic, it's like you don't have that support there to say, hey, turn that TV off, get in front of that laptop, learn what you're supposed to learn, do your homework. And so it became, the students became more like relaxed. They became more dependent on people to do stuff for them instead of learning how to like work on their own or work through situations. Um, and so I think that's how the pandemic kind of hindered the education. Um, I would also I would also say it helped it in ways, just because if you are a teacher, like now I noticed that music relaxed the kids. You kind of want a more relaxed environment because they're not used to like I said, uptight environments where you
Mhm.
sitting still, you're paying attention and stuff like that. Like we had to. If I stand up and teach in front of my class 15 minutes, that's about it.
Mhm. And
15
social
minutes. Other
emotional
than that, we're doing something with like activities or something of that nature.
and social emotional learning has come a lot more important as well.
Yes,
I,
definitely.
Maryland has a big social emotional initiative. So
Definitely. That I would say the pandemic definitely caused a lot of social emotional
mhm.
problems in education as well too. So it's like before you even teach, you have to understand the student, figure out what the problem is, help them through that problem,
Mhm.
and then you're actually like able to teach them, and they're able to receive
Mhm.
what you're actually teaching them.
What adjustments or innovations do you think need to happen for education to truly move forward?
Adjustments. Hmm. I would say adjustments,
Mhm.
administration. I always use the term like a fish rot from the head down. So it's
Mhm.
like if the top is not organized and together, then it's like everything else is just going to fall by the wayside, from teachers to students. And you'll see that in your building. You'll see the students go running crazy, teachers just doing whatever. So if administration is not locked in together and
Mhm.
on one accord, then you'll start seeing a lot of other things just like go down.
What advice would you give to other educators who feel stuck in traditional methods?
Don't be afraid to be yourself. Have fun. It's okay for kids to talk in school. It's okay for kids to get out of their seats. It's okay. And as long as you do that, you pretty much will win the kids over. Um, just because I noticed some of my kids, they can't sit still very long. So instead of yelling at them and telling them to sit down or putting them out the classroom, I tell the whole class to stand up, and we learn standing up. So it's just, you got to be quick on your feet, and you got to be innovative and creative.
So how do you stay creative and motivated?
I'm sorry.
How do you stay creative and motivated?
Prayer.
Yes.
Prayer, a lot of prayer. I also have a lot of educators that I follow on TikTok,
Mhm.
black male educators, female educators, and I just watch the videos. Some of them I love what they do. Some of them I'm like, oh, okay, nope, I know not to do that. So that's what keeps me motivated. Besides prayer and watching other TikToks and other teachers,
Mhm.
that's about it. And my students keep me motivated. Like I said, because they'll have songs and they'll say, "Oh, Mr. Fields, we got to do something to this. We got to do something to this." So it's like, okay, all right, well, let me go home. Let me think about what we can do,
Mhm.
and that's what happens. It's like the next day something will come, and it's like, okay, we can do this, and we'll learn it.
Okay, so just to wrap everything up, I have a couple more questions to ask you.
Okay.
If you could design your own dream school, what would it look like?
If I can design my own dream school, what would it look like? It would definitely be a state of the art school with
Mhm.
like the latest technology that you can have.
Mhm.
But it will also be a school where music is like primary focus. And that's in core curriculum, but then also arts as well too, because kids, they need the arts. So acting, um, musical theater, um, painting, drawing, anything within the arts, I would definitely have that along with the core curriculum.
Mhm.
And then after that, you got to have the sports.
Mhm.
So I play basketball, I play football, so you got to have the sports. So I would definitely have sports available for the kids. But then I will also go like the extra mile to where I know some of our schools here in Michigan, we have like a dual enroll program.
Mhm.
So children can graduate with their associates, yeah, and also have a high school diploma as well too. So I would definitely focus in that area. So that would be my dream school.
Okay. Where can people follow you, your work, or connect with you to learn more?
They can follow me on TikTok at Mr. Fields Teach, and then also they can follow me on Instagram too at Mr. Fields Teach, and Facebook. Facebook is just my regular name, Raymond Fields.
Okay. One couple of fun things. If you could pick one song to describe your teaching style, what would it be?
One song to describe my teaching style. Oh man. um, one song. Ooh, I know so many that's just like popping in my head right now.
Mhm.
One song. One song that come to mind, and I've been using that as like our theme song this year for our classroom. It would
Mhm.
be "Cool Kid" by Super Saya.
Okay.
Um, just because I feel like my class is the coolest class in the building. I
Okay.
mean, we have other dope teachers and we have other dope classes, but mine's is one of a kind.
Yeah.
So that's
Very
how
well.
I feel. So cool kid would describe my teaching style. Like we gonna be cool, we gonna have fun,
Mhm.
and everybody gonna know our class is the class to be in. So that's it. That's how I would describe it.
Okay. Okay. I really, really appreciate you being open and talking to me, for me just hitting you up out the blue and agreeing to come on. I really appreciate this
Thank
and,
you, thank
and,
you, thank you.
and sharing your originality in teaching. I think you're going to help out a lot of teachers
Thank you.
and probably save some teachers from picking other careers if they, to know that it's okay to think out the box.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's so cool and brave for your administration to let you be you and allow you to do some uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes, and that was the main thing. Some of the comments on the video was like, "Well, he'll be fired like next week," and it was like, "Well, I'm so glad my principal and my superintendent
Mhm.
approved of the video. Like and actually after they seen it, it's like, no, everybody needs to be doing that. Like we all need to jump on board. So they really approved it. They liked it. The board members loved the video. So
Mhm.
I can't complain about it. And so it's just once they love that video, it's like, okay, let's push forward now. We can definitely roll with this now. So, and that's what we do. We do it in our class every week. We have like a new song that we're doing. So pretty soon, um, we have one that we do with our spelling words,
Mhm.
and we used it's called High Fashion
Mhm.
by Roddy Rich. It's kind of a hip hop song. We also have another video that we're getting ready to record too, which is Greater Than Less Than,
Mhm.
and we used oh my gosh, the kids. What is the name of that song? They call the dance is called The Gritty, and Right Foot Creep. That's the name of the song.
Okay.
I can't remember who it's by, but it's called Right Foot Creep. And so we have our Greater Than Less Than song to that. So
Okay.
yes, so I can't wait. I can't wait for people to see that. I'm excited about those too.
Okay, great. Sounds good. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Fields.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.